Hey everybody, Travis Kern here from Root and Branch Chinese Medicine in Portland, Oregon. Talking to you this week a little bit about Chinese medicine and sleep. You know, we get a lot of patients in the clinic who are dealing with issues of chronic fatigue. A lot of people are tired. I'm tired. The reason I wanted to talk about this particularly today is because I haven't been sleeping very well these last couple of nights, which is unusual for me. I have been fortunate for most of my life that when I go to sleep, I just fall asleep, stay asleep, and then I wake up the next morning. I don't remember my dreams very much. It's very restful, very peaceful. It's good. Consequently, over the last couple of days, I haven't been sleeping very well, waking throughout the night, multiple times a night, difficult time falling back asleep, which is a story that may be resonant with a lot of you. And consequently, I wake up in the morning tired, like just incredibly tired. My alarm clock goes off and it just takes all of my will to get out of my bed in the morning. I mean, if there was a little person, even if it were a sketchy little demon guy sitting at the end of my bed being like, hey man, you could not go to work today, no consequences, except you just have to sell me your soul, I would consider it. I would strongly consider it. That is that is how serious it is in the morning when I don't sleep well. And for me, it's not the usual pattern, but a lot of folks out there are dealing with this constantly, all the time. And I will say that sleep is a complex issue, right? There's a lot of pieces that go into your sleep and why you fall asleep and how you fall asleep and if you stay asleep. And those things range from, diet. What are you eating? When are you eating it? What are your sleep time habits like? We hear a lot about screen time and screen color and stimulation, and then the bedtime itself. And then once you fall asleep, if you fall asleep easily, do you stay asleep? What are your dreams like? Are you actually getting into deep restful sleep, et cetera, et cetera? So there are a lot of pieces that go into understanding your sleep. But the good news is Chinese medicine has a lot of methods and parameters for helping to support sleep, because I think it's something that human beings have been dealing with for all of our existence, right? It's easy for our sleep rhythms to be disturbed, and we all know how important sleep is to being functional and focused and productive and happy and healthy and all the things that we want. So a couple of things to consider about your sleep. Let me talk about the perfect sleep scenario, right? So this is the ideal, the golden standards, shall we say, of the sleep scenario, which is you absolutely do not eat, right, less than 3 hours before bedtime. So your goal bedtime, as in laying down to go to bed, right, is no later than 10 o'clock, with the goal of being asleep for no later than 11, like actually unconscious and sleeping by 11 o'clock. So if you're playing that out, that means that dinner needs to happen before 7, okay? So your perfect evening scope is going to have you eating your final meal of the day between 6 and 7 p.m., right? Finished eating by 7, ideally. Winding down your evening, beginning your evening shutdown routine around 9:30, 9:45, brush your teeth, take your shower, whatever you do as part of your evening skin regimen, etc., so that you are in your bed 10:15, and that bedroom is dark, cool, okay, and that you don't have distracting items in your bedroom, such as televisions, cell phones, and that you engage in some sort of restful activity. Now, that part is a little different for different people. Some people can read. You can use an e-reader, a book light for a regular paper book. A lot of even the digital readers, which sort of, is a gray space around whether or not that's going to count as a screen, because you can do the nighttime coloration and things like that. So if reading is your item that helps you calm down and relax and get ready for bed, then you should explore with yourself what version of that makes the most sense, right? For a lot of people, lying down to go to sleep presents a particular challenge, which is you did all the things I said, you followed all the rules, and then you lie down to sleep at 10 o'clock, 10:15, and now your mind's racing, right? It's just going a mile a minute. You're reviewing your whole day. You're thinking about your list for tomorrow. You're imagining all the things you need to do for work. And it takes you an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, for your mind to basically exhaust itself before you fall asleep. This is a particular kind of sleep pathology, meaning a problem of sleep that Chinese medicine identifies. Usually, the term we use is that there's a deficiency of heart blood, that's the phrase, which describes that particular pattern to a Chinese medicine practitioner, where your mind, which in Chinese medicine is rooted in your heart organ, right? We call it Shen. That idea is that the Shen, which rules all the things in your body, it's your mind, your heart, your mind, body, your sense of self, right, exists in the Shen, lives in the heart, requires a certain amount of embellishment, right? The metaphor is that the heart is the emperor. And if you imagine that the heart is the emperor is not going to go to sleep on a straw mattress, okay? It needs to have some kind of luxurious component in order to settle down and relax for the evening. Heart blood is that luxurious mattress for the emperor, right? And your organs and a healthy, balanced body is designed that at nighttime, the blood moves into the center of the body and rests in the liver and the heart so that your Shen can relax in its luxurious, blood-filled bed. That sounds kind of gross, but you get the image, okay? And can relax and go to sleep, and then you can go to sleep. If, for whatever reason, that mechanism is impaired, and there's a variety of reasons that the mechanism can be impaired, but if that mechanism is impaired, the Shen can't settle, and your mind races until it literally exhausts itself, and then you just sort of pass out, and then often have very restless sleep, okay? And then wake up, 4 hours later to get up and do your thing. So that's one type of pathology, heart blood deficiency, right? Can't fall asleep. So if you see a Chinese medicine practitioner about sleep, one of the things that they should be talking to you about is them trying to differentiate what kind of poor sleep you have, because it's not all the same, right? They're not all the same. The other version is the one where you lie down to go to sleep at 10:15, and you fall asleep, man. You're just out. And then you wake up. Usually, you wake up between 1 and 3 in the morning. That's usually when it happens. And maybe you fall back asleep. Maybe it's hard to fall back asleep. And then you might even wake up again within that same time frame. And usually those folks also have pretty strong dreaming, okay? So while they are sleeping, they've got really vivid dreams, very emotional, bright, powerful dreams, okay? And this is a type of sleep that we associate with a liver organ, right? It's often a liver blood deficiency. So you have a heart blood deficiency and a liver blood deficiency. There could be other factors, but the mechanism of that poor sleep has to do with another component of your biology. So remember we talked about the Shen, the mind body, the sense of self, who you are, living in the heart. There's another component of the human creature in a Chinese medicine point of view called Hun in Chinese. And Hun is a component of your physiology, right? That's responsible for, in among things, it's responsible for many things, but responsible for dreaming, responsible for the maintenance and movement of the qi throughout the body, both in sleep and during the day. And it's associated with the liver organ which courses and moves the qi and is also in charge of blood, right? These are just pieces of the Chinese medicine philosophical puzzle. So, much like Shen, if the liver blood is deficient, the Hun can't settle and be comfortable for the evening, right? And so it ends up triggering the rest of the body to react. The Hun can't settle, so Shen settles down, you fall asleep, and then Hun tries to settle down and it can't. And much like, say, a child with a parent, the Hun's gonna start making noise. It's like, hey man, I can't fall asleep. This bed is terrible, this room is terrible, I'm making noise, I'm listening to my iPad, cranking the speakers, and what's it gonna do? It's gonna wake up mom and dad. So then Shen wakes up, boom, now you're awake again. And now Shen has a nice bed. So Shen goes into Hun's room and is like, Hun, chill out. Why are you making so much noise? And Hun's like, okay, fine, whatever. And then Shen goes back to its room with its nice plush mattress and lays down and falls asleep. You fall back asleep. And yet, Hun is still unsatisfied. Hun has still not made it. And it starts playing drums at 2 in the morning. And poof, wakes up Shen, wakes up you. Right? The ideal scenario is that if Shen has a big warm bed and Hun has a big warm bed, Then Shen settles down to sleep. Hun settles down to sleep, feels very satisfied with its surroundings, okay? And then Hun quietly sneaks out of the upstairs bedroom and goes on a little tour, right? In Chinese medicine, Hun leaves the body at night. A well-settled Hun leaves the body into the dreamscape and has all of these experiences out in the dreamscape, which it then brings back to the body, and during the next day shares with Shen, right? So maybe our parent-child analogy isn't great because, parents probably wouldn't be pleased to know that their kid's sneaking out at night, so maybe let's set it up as roommates. So Shen goes to sleep at night, Hun goes to sleep at night, everyone's happy. Hun, however, sneaks out, calm and satisfied that it has a great place to return to, and goes out and has a great, interesting, and fun, exciting night, right? Gets up to all kinds of shenanigans, rides unicorns and flies through the clouds and hangs out with your grandmother and, eats cookies made of frosting and peanut butter, and that tastes good because it's a dreamscape and it's experiencing all of these things. And then it comes back in, sneaks back in through the window, falls right back into its comfortable bed, right? And then the next day, Shen wakes up rested and satisfied. Hun has had a great place to settle back into, and it's in a good mood, and so it shares its dreams with Shen, and then we have this really harmonious relationship where all parts of the body are able to talk to one another, share their experiences, and be satisfied with their surroundings. So from a Chinese medicine point of view, if you've got a heart blood problem and a Shen problem, or a liver blood problem and a Hun problem, or, which is often the case, some combination of the two. Because, humans aren't textbooks, so people walk in with combined problems. Your Chinese medicine practitioner can differentiate that problem and provide for you acupuncture treatment and especially herbal treatment that can support the heart blood or support the liver blood or both, right? Support the yin qi, support the yang qi, right? Whatever it is that needs adjusting, in order to recalibrate your body, recalibrate your organs, and the other associated components like Shen and Hun, so that as you fall asleep at night, you can easily fall asleep, easily stay asleep, and then significantly wake up feeling rested, right? Your insomnia and your fatigue as a byproduct of the insomnia are not things that you're just stuck with. They're not. You didn't draw the short straw. You're not cursed. You're not just a bad sleeper, okay? There are pathological components from life, from stress, from genetics. There's a whole host of things that create these circumstances that can then be corrected with proper Chinese medicine intervention, right? Never give in to the idea that you're stuck with what you've got, right? There is always a solution. There is always something to work on, right? And in concert with a capable and knowledgeable practitioner, your Shen and your Hun can be satisfied. You can be satisfied, and you can wake up feeling rested, right? Sleep and fatigue, or sleep problems and fatigue, are not a curse that you're stuck with, right? There's something that can be done. So find a Chinese medicine practitioner in your area. Give us a call at Root and Branch if you have specific questions. Even if you're not in Portland, we'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. Visit us at www.rootandbranchpdx.com to learn more about our services, learn more about Chinese medicine, join the mailing list. We send out lots of info about seasonal changes, recipes, things that you can include, right? And remember, you didn't draw the short straw. There's always something that you can do because, Chinese medicine can help you feel like your best self. It just often does it better, right? Okay. Thanks, guys. Travis Kern from Root and Branch, PDX.com. Have a good day.